Good vach, and welcome to BJC Mitzvah A, new Mitzvah 239, Mitzvah that keeps your soul in its way, also found in the book of Vayikra, Parshas Kedoshim, to reprove a fellow Jew. The obligation to reprove a fellow Jew who does not act properly. Says the verse, you shall not hate your brother in your heart, you shall surely reprove your fellow, and do not bear sin because of him. The first part of this verse is the source of the previous mitzvah and forbids harboring inner hatred toward a fellow Jew. The next clause is the source of this mitzvah and conveys an obligation to rebuke an individual who is derelict in his religious observance. The final clause, and do not bear sin because of him, is the source of the following mitzvah and means that even when offering rebuke, one must avoid the sin of embarrassing one's fellow, which is mitzvah 240. The final clause, however, can also be understood as an elaboration of the mitzvah, with and do not bear sin because of him, conveying that the way to avoid responsibility for a fellow's sin is by attempting to persuade him not to sin. One who neglects to offer reproach, however, bears responsibility for the sin that he could have prevented. There is yet another dimension to this verse. The clause, you shall surely reprove your brother, can be interpreted as a continuation of the previous clause, which forbids harboring hatred. Thus, the verse means if your brother has wronged you, you shall not hate your brother in your heart. Rather, you shall confront him and reprove him for what he has done, so that you do not bear a sin because of him on account of your undisclosed hatred. According to this explanation, the verse teaches that one should air personal grievances in order to resolve them, rather than letting anger fester and grow into hatred. The Chinuch, following the Rambam, maintains that in fact the verse intends to convey both meanings. Thus, this mitzvah to reprove one's fellow encompasses two aspects. Reproof regarding matters between a sinner and God, where one attempts to steer the sinner toward the path of proper conduct, and reproof regarding interpersonal matters, where the wronged party apprises the offender of his wrongdoing with the purpose of resolving their conflict. So he says, for discussion of the connection between these two facets of the mitzvah, see mitzvahs HaMelech. Okay, so we'll stop here. This is just the introduction, and we'll pick it up, God willing, tomorrow. Please sponsor future mitzvah 36 100 of the gold. Have a great night.